Hey, guys, and I just want to say that, yeah, we've got this ongoing creeping into our world virus, and it looks like the quarantine is going to become pretty much imminent for all of us. Looks like I don't think any of us are going to avoid it. It looks like this virus has hit all 50 states at this point, from what I'm hearing. The last state that had none has actually reported having cases now. So, with that being said, everyone ran out and, went panic shopping and stocked up on things. So, I just want to say, let's not sit around and get fat, because there's going to be a lot of people who aren't working and who aren't able to get to the gym and who aren't able to do their daily routine. And let's not make it a habit to sit around and start snacking on all the items that we went out and bought. So here's what we can do. Here's what we can absolutely do. We can protect ourselves. We can clean. We can offer food to the children who are going to be suffering because they cannot get to the schools and get to their daily meals. And I used to be one of these kids. And so I remember during the summertime how hard it was, knowing the very little we were going to eat. And I was raised in the group homes, and it was supposed to be government funded. I found out years later. I didn't know this as a child. But I found out years later that this place was supposed to be government funded, and that we should have had plenty of food. So when I became an adult and realized we didn't, I started to wonder if maybe our staff and whatever wasn't stealing the food and whatever, but that's a whole nother story. And at this point, it's been so many years I couldn't prove it anyway, but whatever on that. The point being is that I remember being a hungry child. And it caused me to grow up and be an overweight adult, because I would start eating and I would board snack and I would habit snack and I would, oh my God, I didn't have this when I was a kid snack. And at one point in my life, not very long ago, I was over 300 pounds. And then I just decided to quit smoking and quit being fat. And so I did. It was a conscious choice that I made and make every day. And, I'm sitting here. Banana is what I'm snacking on. I don't really do the conventional breakfast the majority of the time. Most of the time, I take a medication that requires a meal. And so in the morning, what I'll do is I'll have a cup of skim milk and my banana. And that is good enough. The medication doesn't upset my stomach. But the point being, guys, let's not sit around and get fat, and let's definitely not have food and TV babysitting the kids, because you don't want to start a eating habit that, or eating disorder that will affect your children long term for the rest of their lives. You don't want to do that. And if you are going to have the children babysat by the TV, because it is what it is, sometimes you have to do other things. Sometimes you work from home. Sometimes you have to cook. Sometimes you have to clean. And I understand that. I'm not a complete moronic idiot. I mean, I homeschool my kids. They are 16 and 17 now. And then my two girls are 24 and 28. I'm getting old. Sometimes I forget. But they have moved out and have kids and families of their own. But sometimes, you have no choice but to let the TV babysit the kids. And if that's the case, then put on Leapfrog. There's so many educational shows nowadays that your kids can watch if they're going to be babysat by the TV. So if that's what you're going to do, why not make it educational? You know, there's Leapfrog, and there's I don't even know, because my kids aren't that age anymore. But you know, find educational shows, and if you don't have it on the TV, put it on your tablet, put it on your cell phone. You know, let them learn while they watch, you know. So I'm just gonna throw this out there because of the times that we're in, and I don't know if I'll get a chance to say it again because I'm old. I'm not sick, not yet. I do not have the cuckoo kapoo virus. So, but I know I don't get a chance to say it very often, so I just want my girls to know. My boys are here and I tell them, but I want my oldest and my youngest, and I don't want to say their names because of safety reasons, but you guys know who you are. My oldest girl and my youngest girl, I want you to know how very proud I am of you, and the fact that you're taking care of your children, and you're doing what you got to do to survive in life. And I'm proud of you. Proud of you guys every single day. You don't even know it. And, you know, my youngest, I don't get to see or talk to very often for, you know, whatever reason. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of my oldest. I'm proud of my boys. We're all each individuals, and we're going to do what we're going to do. And sometimes we make mistakes, and mistakes that we make when we're young should not determine the rest of our life. And we should be able to admit to those mistakes. And, you know, we need to own our mistakes and admit them, and and start an event of making an amends, you know. And the other party that you made a mistake against will either forgive you or they won't. But you can't be held accountable for their actions. You can only be held accountable for yours. And I'm saying that to my baby girl as well as to the rest of y'all, because let's face it, we all make mistakes. And if you own it and you say you're sorry and do what you can to make an amends, and the other party will either accept it or they won't. And if they do, they're worth having around. And if they don't, then move on knowing that you did the right thing. You can't be accountable or responsible for other people. But anyway, this whole video, and I jumped right off topic yet again, because in this time, it's an emotional time for all of us, because we don't know what's going on and we don't know what's coming next. I mean, they keep telling us one thing and then something else happens, and then the government tells us that the lockdown's coming, and then it does, but then something else comes, and then it does some more, and then something else comes, and some more, and some more, and some more. I mean, first they said this lockdown was going to be 3 weeks. Now they're talking 3 months. What the hell? But anyway, I've been saying all along it's about a vaccine, and lo and behold, they're talking about a vaccine. Gee, who knew? Who saw it coming? But anyways, the whole topic of this video was about let's not sit around and get fat, because fat and sick don't go well together. So keep that in mind. There are things you can do. Eat healthy, eat wise, and eat when you're hungry, not when you're bored. And set up specific eat times. And because we don't know how we're going to be able to get to the store and how we're not, you might want to think about rations. So, you know, if like my 17-year-old, he likes to have his plate here and his food piled up here. So, you know, I had to kind of scale that back a little bit. And instead of eating 20 times a day, which he's not a fat kid. I mean, He's 17 and he's probably about 6 foot and he's probably about 220 pounds. So he's not, I would say he might be a good 20 to 30 pounds overweight, but I mean, he's not hitting the obese rack anytime soon. But we've had to scale him back because we like to call him the finisher. And he's gotten a lot better about that. But anyway, just bored eating and bored snacking, and those pounds will add up. And if you get sick, it is a lot harder to get over sick when your body has to extra fight because of the extra pounds. And I know because I used to be there. So you want to be careful with that. You want to make whole meals. Like the other day, I made cabbage wraps. And basically what it was a ground meat and rice seasoned, and I wrapped it in cabbage. And then yesterday I made red beans and rice. So you want to make meals that are protein enriched as well as vitamin packed. So, and make plenty, because you never know who's going to show up at your door hungry. So that's another thing to consider. Also, you might want to consider pulling some of the vitamins out of your shelf and checking the expiration date, and if they're still good, I would suggest loading up on vitamin C during this time of need. I would also suggest your iron and your zinc if you have it. But again, like I said, make sure that your medications, guys, are not expired, because I hate to sit here and advocate for taking expired medications and then something happens. I don't have a problem taking expired medication or eating expired food if it's not 5 years past the expiration. If it's like depending on what it is, if it's a month or so expired, I'm not worried about that, because I have a complete understanding of what an expiration date actually means. And if you would like to know what that means, considering vitamins and food and different products, it means different things for different products. So if you have an interest in knowing what that is, then feel free to Google that or YouTube it and get a better explanation of what that means. Basically, I wanted to do this video about let's not get fat, but it's turned into a little bit more, because, you know, I go into a little bit more. I never just hit one subject and go at it. So, guys, if for whatever reason you have to be out there, be careful, be safe. And I don't know a whole lot about the social distancing crap, because I'm not out there. So I'm not trying to come in contact with people. Make sure your elderly neighbors, even if you don't know them, just kind of go, you know, put your hook. Go make sure they're okay. You know, because you don't want to find out they're not come April because there's a funny smell in the neighborhood. I'm not trying to be like morbid, but you know, you want to keep an eye on our elderly. I mean, just, you know, as well as if you know people that have young kids, right now is going to be a hard time for people as far as food, as far as work, as far as income goes. And I know Trump was talking about doing checks and all that, and I don't know how fast that's going to kick in, you know, but if you can help your neighbors, and if you can't, at least go check on them and make sure they're okay. Keep an eye out, see if you see anybody outside moving around or whatever. You know, it's not a time to sit there and go, oh, it's not my business. It's definitely your business. It's definitely your business if you know, if you think your neighbor needs help, or if you think your neighbor's in distress, or even if you have no interest in going and knocking on your neighbor's door because whatever. If you have an elderly neighbor, and by elderly I mean, someone who's 55 and over, if you haven't seen the light in their kitchen come on in a while, or you haven't seen them check their mail. Somebody desperately trying to get in touch with my husband. That's my husband's phone that keeps ringing. But anyway, it's nobody important. But anyway, I was going to say that if you have no interest in checking on them, maybe you could do like a call to your local police or whatever and have them do a welfare check just to make sure, guys. I mean, in this time, you want to make sure that everybody's okay, and it is our responsibility to do that, because God forbid you need help and your neighbors are like, oh, that's just not my responsibility. Yeah, it is. It is, because we as human beings, we are social people, and social creatures look out for the welfare of the other. So that's what keeps us strong. That's what keeps the world populated. And that's what keeps us going, is making sure that the other is okay and prospering and doing what they're supposed to. And I would say I don't know if it would do any good, but if you know somebody who needs food and you don't personally have it to give to them, I would say maybe notify your local police, notify your local outreach, your churches, your Red Cross, your maybe your fire department. I'm not sure who you could really notify in this time of need, but if you know kids that need food, I would notify someone and see about getting them. If you're not able, now if you're able, then by all means you help them, and that's great. But if you're not able yourself, then try to find somebody that can, because again, it's our job to help one another. But at the same time, we want to make sure that our kids are not babysat by the TV. And if they are babysat by the TV, then make sure it's an educational show, because, education doesn't stop, because apparently our world is. And it is our job to check on the kids, the elderly, the neighbors. And it also is our job to not sit around and eat up all of our food in the next week and sit around and get fat. We want to stay healthy. And so, guys, if you know someone who's in need, help them if you can. And if you can't, find someone who can. And the flip side of that is you yourself need to stay healthy. So be cautious when you go out. Be cautious when you knock on a neighbor's door, because here's the deal. From what I'm hearing is you can have this virus with no symptoms and be a carrier. So you don't want to run the risk of contaminating your neighbor, as well as you don't want your neighbor contaminating you. So if it comes down to it, I would say make them some food, wear gloves, wear a mask, make them some food, put it on the porch, and go. They could come out and get it, whatever. We are still in a time of where we can help each other and be safe at the same time. So I wouldn't turn anyone away that's looking for help. And at the same time, it is what it is. We have to deal with it. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think we all need to stick together and not fall apart. So I don't know what I'm going to label this video, because it was going to be let's not get fat, but apparently I've touched on everything. And so I don't know, maybe I'll label it helping thy neighbor, because apparently that's what I spend a lot of time talking about, because that's what we got to do, guys. That's what we got to do. We got to, we got to help our neighbors. And later on today or tomorrow, reiterate on the regrow garden, because all you people that thought I was a complete nut for regrowing my vegetable scraps, now that the store shelves are bare, I bet you wish your shit was regrowing right about now, don't you? Well, guess what? My carrots, my radishes, my peanuts, my green onions, my tomatoes, my potatoes, they're all regrowing. That's right. And I just planted lemon seeds this morning, and I'll be doing more apple seeds later as we go. So sometimes it's not so bad to follow the crazy people, because sometimes the crazy people might just be the ones who know where they're headed in life. You know, everybody thought the couponers and the cheapskates were crazy, and now guess what? Their shelves are stocked. The couponers, their shelves are stocked. They're not worried about toilet paper. They're not worried about soap powder. They're not worried about dish soap. They're not worried about, they've been stocking and preparing for this for years. So, it is what it is. Don't forget to look in on and help your neighbors, guys. And I think that's what I'm going to call this, because that's turned out to be my main focus, because I want to tell you, my concern for kids and people right now is very deep, runs very deep. And I don't want to see anybody go hungry, so I'm doing my own deal. And I'm not going to talk about that here, because it wouldn't benefit any of you who watch this, because I doubt any of you other than my kids are in my area. And I will say to my kids, if you need food, any of you, my baby girl, we'll just call you H. Baby girl H. And your two kids, I know you have a little girl and a little boy. And I'm not sure if you have any more, because I rarely get updates. But anyway, look, baby girl H, if you and your two kids need any food or any supplies to get through this, you know where I live. I'm still in the same place. So just show up at the door, and I will give you what I can. I don't have many baby supplies, but if I'm not mistaken, your baby boy just made 3, and I think your girl is going on 1 or 2. I'm not sure, but I'm old. But I don't think they're babies anymore, so nah. Look, baby girl H, if you need something, this is a time we should come together and not fall apart. So, if you need something to help you or those kids get through, show up at my door, and I'll help you as best I can in any way I can. Now, I'm not promising the world, but I'm promising to do what I can as best I can. Now, to my oldest girl, and I'm directing this to my children who live outside of my home. My kids that live inside of the home, they're being taken care of. So, again, they're 16 and 17. That's my 2 boys. My 2 girls live outside of the home. But anyway, oldest girl, we'll call you M. Okay? If you or your son need anything, which I know, we'll call him K, doesn't need any baby supplies. But guys, if y'all need anything, come on over. At this point, I don't really want to come in contact with you guys that have these small kids, because I'm concerned that if you have something, I don't want it. And if I have something, I don't want to give it, as far as viruses or flus or colds or any of that's concerned. Not just the coronavirus, but keep in mind that it's allergy season, it's flu season, it's, you know, kick your butt season. And so I don't want colds, flus, you know, I don't want any of that. So, guys, and this goes for H and M, both my girls. If you guys need something, hit me up in the comment section. M, you've got my phone number. Text me. I'll set it on the porch. You come by and pick it up. I love you. Can't wait to see you, hug you, kiss you when it's all said and done. But right now, we're not supposed to be in contact with each other. So anyway, but guys, if y'all need anything, you know, H, if you need anything, you comment below. And again, I'm in the same house that you know where I'm at. So if you need anything, you knock on the door, I'll hand it to you out the door, or, you know, you back up, I'll come set it out on the porch. I'm not going to see you guys without, if I have it or if I can help it. Now, if I can't help it or if I don't have it, then that is what it is. But I love you guys, and I'm hoping that this will end soon, and I'm hoping that we can get back together. I miss seeing you guys on Saturdays. I miss having y'all come over and hanging out. And with the quarantine going the way it's going, I don't know when we'll be able to get together again. You know, I've been fighting this hell of a headache for the longest, so I don't know how that's gonna. I'm quite sure it's not corona. I'm quite sure I need to get my ass over to the eye doctor, but I'm old, and I'm scared to go to the eye doctor because, you know. But anyways, guys, look. Let's all look out for each other, not just our kids, but our neighbors and, you know, the school-age kids and whoever else needs looking out for. Now, I'm going to wrap this one up because I pretty much said what I had to say, and I don't even know what I'm going to label this, but it is what it is, and take it for what it is, guys. Have a good one.